From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Monday, September 29th. Here are today's headlines. The UN has hit Iran with sanctions for the first time in years. Britain, France, and Germany initiated a UN procedure called Snapback. It brings back sanctions on Iran that were lifted in 2015. They said they had, quote, no choice but to restore them after Iran flouted limits on its nuclear activities, according to the UN's nuclear watchdog. The move is meant to ensure Iran never develops an atomic bomb. The sanctions came into effect overnight into Sunday. They include embargoes, asset freezes, and other restrictions. All of these could damage Iran's already fragile economy. Several states formally recognized the state of Palestine last week for the first time. It was a huge shift in direction by Western nations, particularly those in Europe that have long stood as Israel's allies. Now, Israel might retaliate. Foreign missions are anxious about steps Israel might take in response to sweeping recognition, from West Bank annexation to confiscating diplomatic property. From Jerusalem, The National's Thomas Helm is here with more.
One of the most discussed options that he has available is annexing the West Bank. Now, this can mean a number of things, and it's important to note that recently Donald Trump said very publicly that he would not allow Israel to fully annex the occupied territory. This announcement was met with real anger from some in Israel's far-right coalition. The West Bank is particularly important for them because most settlers live there, and also they say that it has a particularly strong biblical history because of sites like Hebron and Joseph's tomb in Nablus.
The wave of recognitions comes as Israel launches unprecedented assaults on the two-state solution framework. It's long been the preferred route to ending the Israel-Palestine conflict for many in the international community.
The idea of a two-state solution is pretty unpopular in Israel right now, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu takes pride in trying to do all he can to prevent a state over his long political career. But fully annexing the territory is nonetheless a big move that seems to be, if reports are accurate, too much for Trump to handle at the moment. But it's worth noting that there are various other things and other forms of perhaps smaller annexations, we can call them. These include things like only annexing Israeli settlements, annexing particularly important ones, or particularly important blocks, or annexing areas like the Jordan Valley, which strategically is very important for Israel. Most of it is a military zone already, and barring the city of Jericho and some shepherding communities, is relatively free of Palestinian civilians. The other option he could take, which doesn't involve territory, are ones against the diplomats and diplomatic missions of the countries that recognize the Palestinian state. People that I've been talking to say that this is a real option, and people in Israeli media are also reporting that this is quite possible.
A top UN diplomat has told The National that he believes the prospects for peace are closer now than ever.
When you think about the moves that have to be made to put an end to the war in Gaza, what still needs to be done?
Ceasefire. Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
That's Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs Tom Fletcher speaking to Hadley Gamble, chief international anchor at IMI. This is just a week after the U.S. vetoed for a sixth time a UN-backed resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
No one has come up with a better idea than a two-state solution. We know how complex, we all understand the history, we understand the division and the polarization and the distrust that exists. But unless anyone can show me a better plan, then I think we have to continue doing everything we can to get towards two states living alongside each other.
Fletcher's remarks echoed comments from U.S. President Donald Trump. He had told reporters outside the White House he thinks, quote, we have a deal, unquote, on Gaza.
So we're closer than we were 5 days ago to a ceasefire in Gaza.
I think we are. I say that because I'm always the last person in the room being hopeful and idealistic. But I think we're hearing much more clearly that from the world, enough. This has gone on too long. The damage has been too great. And we have to change the dynamic and get towards a ceasefire. So I desperately hope that we get one.
That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get these stories and follow our live coverage at thenationalnews.com. Yasmin Altaji, The National.